All right. Just need to check if we're up and running on the YouTubes or if it's like Twitch or something. I hope it's not Twitch. It shouldn't be Twitch. But let me just check that real quick. Yeah, we are live streaming and it's called Outlast 2 Let's Play. I don't know why it's called that. Um I'll probably have to change that in settings. I don't know how to change that though. How do you change the name of the stream? Mm, I don't know. Settings. No, it just takes me the same stuff. How would you change the? That's the one thing I've never figured out. Edit. No. Okay. Whatever. We'll talk. Uh, it's gonna say Outlast 2 Let's Play. Doesn't really matter. Just need to check the audio levels. Okay, that audio is pretty good, honestly. All right. Welcome to my live stream. I hope we're gonna have some fun here today. Just talking about Toronto sports. Most the largest quantity of the topic is going to be about the Maple Leafs. We're going to talk a little bit about TFC, a little bit about Don Cherry and what happened. So just to get started, let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Maple Leafs lost yesterday against the New York Islanders, and that was a tough loss because they looked somewhat in the game. Uh, at times they got frozen, and it was hard to see the team trying and lose, and same thing happening at Chicago. But it's something about the season. It's been the Maple Leafs only play a portion of the game, and I was about to say period because that's what they play. They only play one period. They had an amazing second period, but their first period was awful. Their third period was awful as well until the last, I think, 2 minutes when they were down 3 goals. So, it's just it doesn't make any sense how a team can just want to turn on and off at points in a game. You should always be on your A game at all times, and they just don't. They play so much different than any other team in the NHL, and it's very weird. Um, it doesn't make any sense, and I got some statistics here to run by you guys because we are apparently having a horrible season. We are, and I'll prove it to you. So, right now, the Maple Leafs this year, they're 7-4 or sorry, 9-7-4. So, take that into perspective. We have 22 points. Now, I just saw something on my phone earlier today. Um, it's this Leafs fan page I follow. Uh, yeah. Okay. The Leafs' 6 regulation wins this year have come against these teams. It is the bottom 6 teams in the league: San Jose Sharks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Ottawa Senators, the Detroit Red Wings, the Minnesota Wild, and the LA Kings. Minus the New Jersey Devils, who are about third of the way down from the bottom. So, when you think about it, every team we've beaten this year um, has been really bad. But I don't think he's completely right. Like, I guess yeah, he said regulation wins. Um, we did beat Vegas, we did beat Boston in overtime, but that was overtime. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be beating teams in regulation without the help of overtime. It's just stupid. Um, just plain stupidity from the Maple Leafs, and they just don't want to play. They're losing their confidence because the players going down. Tavares went down for 3 weeks, I believe it was, and he came back, and then about a week later, Marner goes down as soon as Hyman comes back. So, like, Zach Hyman looked phenomenal yesterday. He played 17 minutes, and I believe it was like, I think he played actually in like 18 minutes, 20 seconds, which is great. Which is great that he's playing those minutes already. No Marner, though. So Marner's going to be out for the next month, so Leafs are going to have to adapt to that. The teams get injuries. You know, the Boston Bruins last year, they had injuries throughout their the entire regular season, and they made it work. They came second place. They were in front of us. So it doesn't make sense for a team to not work as hard, you know, even though they have all the talent. I keep seeing this online. They have the tools to do the job, but they're not using them. The toolbox is full, but really it is empty. And it's embarrassing, like, to be a fan, like, to wear this logo right now, to wear this logo on my chest, to wear this logo on my head, to carry the jacket around that I wear almost every day. It's embarrassing. You know, there's the Atlantic is absolutely stacked this year. You got the Boston Bruins who are doing phenomenal. I think they've won the last 3 games. Then you got the Montreal Canadiens who are starting to come out. You know, some of their rookies are starting to play. Thomas Tatar and is really showing some big veteran roles for his team, and Max Domi and Kasperi Kontaniemi. You know, they're really good players. Shea Weber, he does what Shea Weber does. Carey Price, best goaltender in the league, and he's performing for the Habs, so that's doing really well for them. Florida Panthers got Bobrovsky going off now. Bobrovsky had a slow start, but he's starting to click. Jonathan Huberdeau is doing really well. Aaron Ekblad. You got a lot of really good. Barkov too. Sorry, Barkov is doing really well. I think I said Aaron Ekblad. I don't know why I said Aaron Ekblad. Yeah, Alexander Barkov. You know, they're a really good team too, Florida, and then you got Tampa, who's only played 15 games. So really, they could get in the second or third spot too. And then you got Buffalo, who's still hanging on. So from here on out, the Leafs have to get better. We've played 20 games already. We are I want to say 24%, because it doesn't become 25% until you play in your 21st game and you're about halfway through the second period. So that's considered 25% way through the year. So, you know, we'll just say 20 games is quarter through the season. 9-7-4. Absolutely unexcusable for how they've been playing. And I just want to show you something. Last year, the Maple Leafs at this point with 20 games in the 2018-2019 season were 14-6. 14-6. They had 27 points. All right, they were playing really well. They didn't have any overtime losses, so they just had 6 losses. 27-18 season, they were 13-7. So not as good as now, but they still had 25 points. All right, they were still in a good position. Here's where it gets interesting for me, because the Leafs at this point did not have John Tavares. All right, they didn't have Tyson Barrie. They didn't have Jake Muzzin. They didn't have Jake Muzzin, but they had JVR. They had Kadri. They had Tyler Bozak. They had all this offensive power. In the 2016-2017 season, they were 8-5, sitting at 21 points out of a playoff spot. So, you know, it's a slow start, and the Maple Leafs are known for having a slow start. You know, I looked at the statistics for their schedules of all the seasons, and it's like the Leafs do poorly from October to November, and once we get to end of November, beginning of January, between that time period, the Leafs go off. I don't know what it is. It's just like they hit it just turns on. And Freddie's been having some trouble too in goaltending, but you really can't blame him. The team's not playing well at all. So they got to get it together. Get your stuff together, man. I know I could say something else, but I'm not going to. Get it together. By the end of November, I want to start seeing some wins. You know, by the beginning of December, maybe a week into December, we'll have Marner back most likely. So that's good. It's good to have Marner back, and that should get us going. So the Leafs just need to keep hanging on right now until they get their full team back, and then they can start playing some good hockey. But this is really a time, I've said this numerous times, this is a moment in time where the Leafs have to use what they have and make it work. The Boston Bruins made it work last year. Why can't the Leafs do it this year? It doesn't make sense and needs to get done. So, yeah, that's just all I have to say about Toronto. If you're wondering, 2015-2016 season, the year we came last place, the Leafs were 7-6-6, and they had 20 points, 2 points less than what we have now. So if that doesn't show that we're not having a great season right now, there you go. Toronto FC lost to Seattle 3-1 in the MLS Cup Finals this past weekend. I watched the full game, and it was very hard to watch. I mean, the beginning of the game, TFC was dominating. Even up to the 60th minute, TFC, they were in charge. They had Seattle. You can tell that the Seattle stadium was very nervous because it looked like TFC was going to win the MLS Cup in Seattle, which would have been huge. Only coming in fourth and then beating New York City FC, Atlanta United to get there. So, well, also DC United, but there was a good chance they were going to beat them anyways. Nobody had them beating New York City FC. I did. Nobody had TFC beating Atlanta. I didn't. I didn't expect TFC to beat Atlanta. They did. And I was very shocked. I was very happy. So, TFC made the finals. That's what they wanted. They didn't want to win this year. They had no expectations to win this year. The city didn't have expectations for the Maple Leafs. The city didn't have expectations for Toronto FC to win this year. It wasn't their year. It wasn't like the Raptors last year who were like, okay, this is our year. Let's win it. Let's do this. We have the team. We have the players. We got Kawhi Leonard. Let's go win a championship. And they did. Back in 2017, Toronto FC, they had Sebastian Javinko. They had Josie Altidore. Those two at the top with an amazing midfield. Great defenders as they picked up Mavinga. Alex Bono was doing really... Sorry about that. All right, give me a second. Sorry about that. I have like the most stubborn carbon monoxide detector in the world. It's like there's no carbon monoxide, but because it would show me. It's just telling me to change the battery. It's just kind of annoying. But yeah, I just did that quickly. Back to Toronto. Yeah, they had an amazing season back in 2017. They had Sebastian Javinko, Josie Altidore. Amazing midfield. Chris Mavinga they picked up. Then they had Alex Bono, who was coming off his greatest season. They were expected to win. We were like, okay, we lost to Seattle last year. let's get to the finals. And if it's Seattle, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Repeat of last year's. Well, we play Seattle again in Toronto, and we beat them 2-0. So that year we were expected to win. Toronto was not expected to win this year, and they didn't win. The Seattle won. Seattle wasn't expected to win either. It was LAFC. I thought it was going to be LAFC and Atlanta United, which would have been an amazing game. But I'm glad that Seattle played Toronto for the third time. It was a really good game to watch up until the 60th minute when that own goal just changed the momentum. And I'm proud of the boys for getting that far this year. And for my Toronto CA fans out there, I don't know if you knew, but Jay Chapman got picked up by Inter Miami FC. So, yeah, there's our player that they took. It was Steven Beitashour for LAFC, which kind of sucked, but we still had Oro. Jay Chapman, he's the bench guy. Hasn't really done much for TFC in a while. He's a good Canadian kid. He's about 25. So, he's a great player, but I'm glad they took him instead of someone else that is possibly a great bench player or on the starting 11. So, that was good that they took him. Don Cherry. I don't know what happens to me when I say Don Cherry. Every time I come across his name, I feel heartbroken. And I am heartbroken. The day I found out, I'm like shaking right now. The day I found out Don Cherry was fired, it was incredibly tough. Incredibly tough. Now, I don't want you to think I'm an idiot. I don't want you to think, oh, Nick doesn't think he was racist. He's racist now. I thought he was racist. Not at the time, though. At the time when I was on the bus coming from school, I read on Instagram that he got fired. I was like, no, it's fake. It's fake. Then Sportsnet and The Score and TSN and everyone tweeted in the neighborhood that Don Cherry was fired. So I was like, okay, he's fired. Yeah, I didn't take it well. I was very angry. You can still hear it now. Yeah, I was very angry. I had to cool off a little bit. I was going to make a video that day, but I decided not to because I need to let the dust settle a little bit. And hear an opinion from the you people. I don't know why he called them that, but it was such a stupid thing to say. But the people who have immigrated to Canada, I needed to hear their opinion. I needed to hear the opinion from an immigrant. So, we talked about it in class that day. So, it was interesting to hear that why it was racist. Because I didn't know. I'm going to be 100% honest. I had no idea why it was racist. And my first instinct was, oh, that's not racist. Come on, they said you people. Like, those are just two words, right? They can't be racist. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. You people just basically means, like, you guys. Like, you. It's like it's almost it's very derogatory towards the immigrants, right? They don't like to be called like the other people, everyone needs to be treated the same. Why are they being treated differently? And that's sort of the approach that I've heard, what the you people means. And it is bad. It's pretty bad. So I gotta be careful here, but I was very upset when he got fired. And I can tell you why right now. Don Cherry, for me, was my childhood. I watched him since I was, I want to say, 4 years old. So, majority of my life, I've been watching Don Cherry on Coach's Corner. He's just so fun to watch. He is, I want to say he is the sort of grandfather of hockey. Because he is. He is the grandfather of hockey. Right? He comes on every Saturday. Hockey Night in Canada every day. I don't think he's missed a day. I'm probably wrong because everybody has a sick day. But I don't think he's ever missed a day. He never worn the same suit twice. I'll tell you that for sure. His personality, the way he just comes on and performs for the audience is really inspiring, and it was for me as a kid. And Don Cherry was one of the reasons I got into what I do today, why I do broadcasting. There's a video on YouTube. It's called Don Cherry's Minion. My mom made it a long time ago. She recorded me announcing downstairs, and it was probably about 8 years old. 8 years old, or 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know how old I was, but yeah, go check it out. That's pretty much where I started. At the age of 8, when I started playing hockey, I started to do announcing. So, because I like to hear myself speak and I like to play hockey, so I did both at the same time, and it was fun. So to watch a childhood inspiration get fired, because the only day I thought Don Cherry would leave Coach's Corner is when he decided, okay, it's time to retire. I'm a little old for this. I'm having trouble, staying awake in front of the camera or speaking in front of the camera or something like that. I think it's time for me to retire and enjoy the rest of my life, going on vacations and going to rinks around Canada and just having fun, not having to be paid to work until I'm like 95. So, or the other thing was, I thought he was either going to do that, work until he retires, I thought the only way he would be done with Coach's Corner is when he retires or when he sadly passes. That was the only thought in my brain about Don Cherry leaving, because I know how much he cares about hockey. And when he got fired, it was hard. Like, it was really difficult to comprehend. But I get it. I do get it, though. And what he said, he can't take back. I know he tries to. The first time he didn't apologize. He had the opportunity on the Toronto Sun interview, but he didn't apologize. But then again, that's like the Toronto Sun. It's not a broadcast interview. It's the Toronto Sun. They're not a main sports. They're not mainly for sports, right? They're not a main headline on sports. I know they have a sports section on their website or on the newspaper, but come on, man. It's Toronto Sun. You have Sportsnet, you have TSN, you have the NHL Network. You have so many other branches of sports communication besides the Toronto Sun, really. So, excuse me, I didn't think that was a real interview for Don. I don't think he took it seriously, that interview, because it's Toronto Sun. That's where he was wrong, and that's when he got fired. That's when he realized, oh, I made a mistake now, and I need to fix it. How can I fix this? He can't fix it because he's already been fired. So he had an interview with someone from CBC, an actual sports network, and they basically told him that. Well, he also had an interview with a TSN employee, and he basically said, "I take back what I said." Right, just kind of reversing what happened before. And I sincerely believed his apology there. I believe he had learned from his mistakes. He was facing the consequences of his actions, and he truly felt genuinely sorry for what he said. He's not going to take back what he said because he just wanted to reword it. He didn't want to say I'm sorry for what I said. He wanted to reword what he said. Instead of saying you people, he meant to say everyone. But he got heated in the moment because he walks around and doesn't see people wearing poppies, and he feels saddened inside because he's been to places in Afghanistan where and France where he sees thousands and thousands of bodies buried, and it's hard to. I'm sorry about that, by the way. It's hard to see that and be like, whoa, um, okay, so I've seen the people that died for our country, and now I know why I wear a poppy. I want everybody else to see that and be like, hey, now I need to wear a poppy. Well, when that doesn't happen, he gets frustrated. So he meant to say everyone, and he wishes that if he can go back on air on Saturday, this Saturday, and take back what he said, he would. And I agree he would. Especially because it's coming from him, right? But really, I'm gonna wrap this up soon, anyways. It's okay. But yeah, it's dumb that he got fired. He didn't get given a second chance. But then again, Don Cherry has always been like that, right? So he's always been that guy that never really takes back what he says. You know, he's a man of his word, and he's facing the consequences finally for it. He's said some pretty bad things on air before, way worse than this. It's just because now our society has gotten to it, with the help of Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You know, now that's gotten out there. So, and the people are taking act to it. So before it, there was no communication systems like that, so nobody can get the word out. But I believe he's truly sorry for what he did, and I believe he should be given a second chance. I don't know about everyone else, but that's just my opinion. I love Don Cherry for who he is, and I know he said some stupidly retarded things, but at the end of the day, we're all people, and he just wants everyone to respect the people that have died for not necessarily our country, but a country, and wear something that represents them. That's all he wanted. So that's all I have to say, really. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. It was pretty fun talking to a camera for how many minutes? 27 minutes, almost 28. So yeah, it was fun. I hope everyone learned something about this. I truly learned something about what happened with Don Cherry, and truly learned that the Leafs still suck, and I learned that TFC is better than I thought they were this season. So we all learned a couple things this year. It's not over. You know, we had some amazing championships this season. We had the Toronto Raptors. We had Bianca Andreescu win the U.S. Open. That's about it, really. But, you know, TFC made the finals. Leafs got kicked out in the first round again. And the Blue Jays didn't even get over 500. So, you know, it's all right. Like, it was an all right year for Toronto sports, but I'm hoping next season it's going to be better. Raptors off to a great start. Hopefully that stands. And the Leafs are a cup contender. Blue Jays just getting better every year. Toronto FC, you know, just keep playing hard. Argos, I'll just cheer for you when you're in the playoffs, because really it's kind of hard to predict when they're going to make the playoffs or not. Any team can win the CFL, so, you know, as long as you make the playoffs, you're going to have a chance. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like on the stream. Comment what your opinions are about the Toronto Maple Leafs season, Toronto FC's loss, or what you think about Don Cherry, and I will truly listen to those comments because they mean something to me, and I take care of the stuff that means something to me. So, yeah, just give your opinion, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts on your opinions. That's all I have to say for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take it easy, guys.